Hey guys, Travis with Alberta Backroads, and today I'm going to show you how I made these quick disconnect sway bar links on my 2019 JL. And this will be the same for a lot of other Jeeps and a lot of other vehicles, really. So yeah, stay tuned. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get down and remove the lower mounting bolts for the factory sway bar end links. So the sway bar end links are held on by an 18mm bolt and nut. And we're just going to remove them with a ratchet and a wrench. Just like that. And we'll do the same for the other side. So with our sway bars disconnected, we're just going to flip them up out of the way for now. Okay, so next we're going to measure the length of our bolts from the head of the bolt to the tip of the bolt. And that comes out to about 3 inches. I'm going to make mine 3 inches, my pins. The reason being is it's better to have a little extra than end up with not enough. So, being said, we're going to make these pins out of this 1/2 inch steel stock here. Now, one thing to keep in mind is these bolts are 12mm bolts, meaning the sway bars are designed to accept a 12mm bolt. You're going to have to drill out your sway bar bushing to a 1/2 inch in order to make these pins fit. If you could find some 12mm stock, that's fine too. However, I only had access to 1/2 inch stock. 1/2 inch is a little bit bigger than 12mm, so this is what I'm going to do. So now I'm going to mark my 3 inch point on this rod. And then I'm going to cut that piece off. I'm going to measure and cut another one, and then I'll see you at the next step. Now, if you guys have watched my past videos, specifically the one with the cargo rack, you'll know that a little tip that I gave you guys in that video. To make a straighter cut in a vise with a grinder, it's a good idea to lay your cut line at the base of the vise, and when you make your cut, just have your grinding wheel run across the base of the vise. It makes your cut come out a lot straighter, makes it a little easier. Just like that. Okay, so now that we have our pins cut, what we're going to do is we're going to put these in the vise. We're going to weld some 1/2 inch washers to the base of them. Just like that. Our next step, we'll drill out these sway bar link bushings here with a 1/2 inch drill bit, as I mentioned before. Take your time, you don't jam your hands. It's pretty simple. Okay, so next we're going to test fit these pins and mark the spot we're going to drill our hole for our retainer. So, line your sway bar link up, install your pin, place a washer on the pin. Make sure everything looks like it's tight, sitting where it should. And then what we're going to do is we're going to mark at the outward end of that washer, and that's where we're going to drill for our retaining pin. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do before drilling this hole is we're going to center punch where we want our hole to be. The reason being, if you don't center punch it, your drill bit, where this, especially because this is round stock, your drill bit's going to just walk all over the place. You'll never get a straight hole. Just like that, see? So after we have our spot marked and center punched, we're just going to go ahead and drill it. With this particular pin that I'm using, it's going to be a quarter inch hole that I require. So I'm going to drill it out with a 1/4 inch drill bit. Try to keep the drill as straight as possible while drilling this hole. Okay, just like that. And now that I have this drilled out, I'm going to put it back in the vise. I'm going to bevel it with the grinder. That way it makes it a little easier to install it. Just like that. And now we're going to test fit it. Apologize for the flashlight, guys. Okay. Alright, so that fits. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do the same thing and make a pin for the other side. So one thing to keep in mind is these sway bar, your sway bar disconnect pins are going to be different sizes in regards to where the hole is drilled on either the driver's side or the passenger side. The reason being is because the sway bar bracket on the passenger side also goes into your track bar mount. So you have this extra bracket and piece of steel here. So you'll have to drill your hole to accommodate that. So yeah, they're going to be different. So after we have our sway bar disconnect pins made for each side and we test fitted both of them, we're going to go ahead and we're going to begin to make our mounting bracket to hold our sway bars up out of the way when we disconnect and we're out in the trail. So what we're going to do is we're going to utilize this factory hole here in the shock tower. And we're going to make a small bracket out of some old scrap steel we have laying around, and then drill a hole so that we can mount our pins into there. So they're going to sit somewhere like that. So I got these old metal brackets here that I'm going to be making my sway bar mounts out of. And you can do this with any thicker gauge sheet metal, whatever you have laying around, scrap or stuff you pick up down at the hardware store. It doesn't much matter as long as it's a little stiff, a little rigid. Okay, so to make this bracket, I'm first going to figure out where I want my bend. I'm just going to lay it in there and just kind of eyeball it. So I'm going to bend it around where, well, ironically enough, there is a crease already in this metal. So I'm going to take it over to the bench and bend it. I'm just going to use a hammer and bend it down. Just like that. After we made our bend, I'm going to lay this big piece of metal in here and determine where I need to cut it and where I need to drill it. So alright, so now that we have our bracket all marked, I'm just going to cut it. After I cut it, I'm going to drill it. I drilled the pilot hole first to make drilling the 1/2 inch hole just a little bit easier. Now that that's done, flip it around. I'm going to drill my 3/8 hole on this side. Now, after I have that drilled, I'm just going to clean up the burrs left from the drilling process. And there you have it. So now that we have our bracket made, we're going to install it and check it for fitment, make sure everything lines up and works well. I applied some Loctite to the bolt just to make sure that it won't back off on us. And there you have it. We're all finished. Thanks for watching. Okay, so that's it. We got our sway bar disconnects and our brackets all made up. And if we want to put our sway bar links, back on, it's pretty easy. Just remove your pin, remove this pin, drop your sway bar down, put that pin back in, lock it up, and that's it, you're done. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you find it informative. Any questions, leave it in the comments below. If you did enjoy the video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.